I come in last night about 10:30. That baby of mine wouldn't let me in. So move it on over, rock it on over, move over, little dog. A mean old dog is moving in.
Hello and welcome to Concert Blast. Mike Arnold here, and I hope we're going live with the video, aren't we?
We are on.
With the one and only
Michael, cheer up, will you?
George Thorogood, of course.
My friend over here just took a happy pill.
Well, I have to act happy if we're going to be on the air here, right?
Yeah, all right.
Okay. George Thorogood here. You know what? You talk about happy. There's one line that you start every concert off with, and that's the way I feel right now.
Okay.
What is it?
Well, we played at Gusman Hall in 1980 in Florida, in Miami, Miami Beach, where Jackie Gleason used to do his television show in the American Scene magazine, and it was after the Honeymooners, of course. He had his own show in Florida, and he would start off every program by yelling out how sweet it is.
Yeah.
And we were working in the exact hall where he used to shoot this thing, and I talked to a lot of the staff, and they took me downstairs, and they showed me a lot of the props. Gleason himself supervised everything. And, you know, just say, well, I'm here in the room with Gleason, I'll just say it. And I said, it's just stuck ever since.
Wow, I mean,
You know,
I love
I
it.
just, you know,
I expect it, and if you didn't say it, I'd be disappointed, actually.
you know, I had a string, and one night, it was about maybe 4 years ago, I forgot to say it, and my record was broken.
Oh,
I did it for, you know, 30 some years, you know, and then when I turned to our sax player and I went, buddy, I forgot to say how sweet it is. He goes, well, go up and say it now. Like, it's too late. No. Can't be done that way.
That's what I agree with.
The great one would not have it.
And you come on stage with those shades, and then you sling them off, and that's another signature thing that I've always noticed you doing for a long time.
Well, you know, I had some people in California watched our show, and a guy commented in Denver once. He said, watching the Destoyers play, George Thorogood and the Destoyers play, is almost like a sitcom from like the 50s, 60s, early 70s, where there's a pattern that happens, there's a style that happens that you get used to it. And one woman said, I could watch your show over and over and over the same show, like a really good rerun television show.
Right.
So I remember subconsciously, I would watch these shows, and there's certain things you always see, like you see Dick Van Dyke falling over the footstool.
Yeah, that's right.
You saw Andy Griffith whistling with the fishing pole with his son throwing the rock across the river.
Right.
And, you know, so these things just kind of sunk into me not knowing it. And it just comes natural to me to have that. We're pretty much like that. You know, we do a lot of the same material we've been doing for years. Most acts do. But ours is been kind of set up like that, and the audience has been a television raised generation, and you know our show's not exactly. So you know, and that's what we do. You know, that's just the George show. You know, bad jokes and all.
No, that's what makes it unique, I think, because we
bad jokes.
Oh yeah.
Well, I learned that trick from Jack Benny, because Jack Benny actually was a really good violinist.
Right.
He actually he actually could play really good, and he played, and he would have charity benefits and raising like $50,000 for organizations where he would do concerts.
Right.
But on his television show, he played very badly, and he explained later his technique in comedy was he played the songs badly, so his jokes sounded better. So I do the opposite. I tell bad jokes.
Just play good music.
So the song sounds better.
I remember, I've seen you in concert about 10 times, actually. And I remember one time somebody yelled something out, and you said, whoa, went on a bus or something, and we're going to be here all night. Yeah. And everybody was just looking at the guy punching him. And I was one of the sweaty guys up against the stage doing this right here.
Rodney used to say, Rodney one time said, the guy said something to him, and he goes, do you talk back to the screen at the movies?
Well, some people do, I'm sure.
Well, Rodney, you know, you see, as you know, I grew up on comedy. That was my thing when I was a kid. I wanted to be a comic. And, you know, the British invasion came in with the Rolling Stones, and it was Jimi Hendrix, and countless other people I watched and watched. I want to be a musician. I want to be an entertainer like Mick Jagger or Peter Wolf. And then what I didn't realize by listening to radio and watching George Burns on TV and Jack Benny and Phil Silvers and Jackie Gleason and Ernie Kovacs and every single one of them, Dick Van Dyke, Red Skelton, everybody, it sunk in.
Yeah.
It sunk in. So my parents said, listen, look, everybody goes out there being too cool for school, with their guitar and all. Just be yourself. Be like Bill Cosby. Loosen up. People, they're people. They're just people.
That's right.
And then they make, and you're just a regular guy. You make mistakes like they do.
Right.
And throw some humor into it. Like Jerry Reed.
Right.
Excellent. Jerry Reed's excellent example. One of the funniest guys I've ever seen perform is Chuck Berry. He actually does a comedy routine.
Yep.
Another guy who's a very funny guy, but he doesn't get a chance to use it, or maybe he doesn't choose to, is Mick Jagger. If you have Mick's a very funny guy, and he talks funny, he has great stories.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's got great sense of humor, but he doesn't have a chance to apply it in
He's
his
too busy.
show. Yeah, exactly. When you got 80,000 people, that's exactly right.
Keep them entertained.
You can't stop for a minute and just say, something funny happened to me on the way to the show today. He doesn't. He doesn't have that. He's not allowed to do that.
Right.
That kind of thing. But most of the blues entertainers I saw would do that, and my parents and guys in there would say, when we started in the bars, there'd be a lot of people saying, and I'd say, well, I was watching the Miss Nude America contest on TV. What?
Got him up. Huh?
Yeah, right. I was making it up on the spot. But you got to think fast like that. I said, well, I'm not going to just get by on just guitar playing. I watched Elvin Bishop.
Oh yeah.
Very funny cat, and he tells funny stories. I said, well, just include a little of that patter. Loosen people up, and
He looks like a comedian to me.
Elvin.
Yes. And he's a great guitarist.
Yeah, well, he's a brilliant guitarist, maybe the best. And another thing about Elvin is he has an act, and you just look at Elvin and say, well, if you go beyond his Oklahoma twang and his cornball routines, a very sharp, smart guy who really knows what he's doing. I learned an awful lot from that man.
Wow.
How to get over an audience, how to do it. Because when you start out, you don't have any hits.
Right.
You just can't say, all my songs.
And sometimes you don't have any songs.
Exactly. Sometimes you don't have any people.
Well, most of the time in the beginning, you don't have any people.
Exactly. That's a good point. So you got to do something entertaining.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of entertaining, you've been entertaining this is your 40th anniversary tour. Wow, 40 years. So if you think back about all through the years, anything you would do differently?
Everything.
No.
Well, of course, hindsight's 20/20. You look back and say, I wish I had done this. I wouldn't have done that. I would have done this. The contracts I signed, I think I put out too many albums. There's some albums that are just okay because there's just too much material on it. A couple of them came out okay, and a couple I said, I wish I had done that. And, but you had to do it at the time. We cut an album once called Haircut. Get a Haircut.
Yep.
We knew the song Get a Haircut was going to be great for us.
Right.
It's perfect for us. We'll get radio play. But then I had to fill out the album with 12 other songs.
Yeah.
And I'm going, Bob Dylan ain't got 12 other songs. Where am I going to come up with 12 other songs? You see, so as a result, getting that song, the whole album suffered. And then you get a mediocre review. But the song itself did exactly what we wanted it to do. Add that to another one, chestnut to the crown, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
In the beginning, well, I'll say in my beginning stages with you, as far as following your music, Move It On Over was the big one that really caught my attention with you.
Well, I had a lot of I had a lot of pride with that record. I'll tell you the story behind it. When we made our first record, I was very, very bitter after it came out because we didn't have, no one came to us. I couldn't get a record deal to save myself. I could not get a record deal. I had to beg on bended knees probably to get Router even interested in us. They said maybe.
They ended up doing it though.
They did it out of mercy.
Oh, okay.
Because they said, this guy is driving us crazy.
Oh, okay.
Because we haven't said no to him. We're trying to say no in a nice way, and he won't take no for an answer. So he made the first record, and it got a lot of attention. It got in the charts, got all over it. And then all of a sudden, every major label wanted to sign us. And I was very upset about that. I said, oh, now you come around. Now you come around. Now that we have a hit. And I said, where have you been? Like those people said, Well, we didn't know you were around. I said, I played 2 blocks down the street from you for the last year. What do you mean? Where have you been? We've had a following. So when it came to moving on over, the people ran around her said, should we get major distribution for George's album? He might go gold.
Yeah.
And I said, no, we're going to do an album independently, without any major distribution, and with no originals, to prove everybody wrong. I'm going to prove the whole world wrong, that a record can be made without any originals and without on a major label and make a very good record. So everybody said, well, you can't go anywhere without original. I said, suppose all the songs are really good.
Yes.
Who cares who wrote them? And I said, I'll guarantee you, I'll make a record. I'm not going to put any originals on this record. I'll find material. I have some that'll make it. And they said, well, what about the distribution? I said, no, let's do it on our own. Let's do it without the help of the big corporations. Let's do it. And it did go gold. It went gold. And it had Moving On Over, Cocaine Blues, Sky is Crying, Who Do You Love, It Wasn't Me, So Much Trouble, Same Thing, New Hawaiian Boogie. And people say they're all covers. I said they weren't covers; they're obscure songs.
Exactly.
Linda Ronstadt does covers.
Right.
If Joe Cocker does covers, I do obscure material nobody's ever heard of. And now you have heard of it. And then when that went gold, I said, I don't really want to make any more records. I proved my point. And then one day I picked up the guitar and I'm fooling around with it, and I heard on my guitar went wah 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 wah.
Oh,
and I went,
really?
yeah, wah 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 wah. And I went, hey, that's bad. I went, oh no.
How bad was it?
No. What are you
So
doing?
you're back in the studio.
What am I doing to myself?
You're back in the studio now.
Yeah. And I tried to get a lot of other people to record that song, and they wouldn't do it. I tried to get Muddy Waters to do it. They wouldn't even talk to me.
That would be great for him, actually.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Muddy Waters, perfect. Get out of here. We don't want any. We don't want any kids from the suburbs coming in here giving songs to Muddy Waters. And I said, oh, that's a bunch of crap. If Keith Richards wrote that song, you record it in a minute. But I'm a nobody from Delaware, so they're not going to listen to me. Mm-hmm. So I tried to give it to Bo Diddley, who I thought he liked the song. He wanted to do it, but he didn't have a record deal. And I said, jeez.
But you got Bo Diddley in the video.
But wait a minute. I thought to myself, Bo Diddley doesn't have a record deal with anybody? Right. Something's wrong with the world. That was like when I heard Steve Allen couldn't get a gig on TV. What does that mean? What is the world going to?
That's right.
You know what I mean? I said people like Bo Diddley and Steve Allen created television. Mm-hmm. I said the man who created rock and roll, Bo Diddley, can't get a record deal? Yeah. That don't sound right to me. So yeah, he ended up in the video.
Yeah. But did he ever get any more record deals from that point on?
Well, I think his catalog got like reissued and things. Yeah. People bought up. People do that now. They buy up all their catalogs. I think that kind of kept his career going. Mm-hmm. But just a deal in itself. Maybe Bo's time had been done, but it just didn't ring true to me. I was very young at the time, and I thought Willie Mays can't get a job in baseball.
Oh,
that just kind of didn't seem right.
Right. So I also remember another thing that was really struck me to get my attention to you, and I'm sure you got a lot of people's attention. What came up? What started the idea? 50 dates in 50 states.
Well, that was that's me and my big mouth backfired on me as usual. We had a driver who was driving us at the time, and he said, I like how you guys work with your fans. When's the next time you go out and play? You play most of this. Why don't you play all the states? And I mistook it for him to saying doing all 50 states in 50 days. And he informed me about the third day out. That's not what he meant. He said, no. He said, hey, I really admire you doing it all 50 in a row. I went, what? Isn't that what you wanted me to do? He goes, no, I just said just do all 50. You didn't have to do them all in a row. I was like, now you tell me.
Wow.
And after we booked it, Bill Graham came to us and wanted us to play in New York City at Madison Square Garden with the Rolling Stones, and we were booked up. I said, oh, great, George. Smart move, as usual. They always say, Thurgood, these guys, he's a maverick kind of guy, he does things his own way. Well, sometimes being a maverick doing things your own way, you make a lot of mistakes along the way, too.
That's a good album title, by the way.
Well, I'm saying, it's not like everything you do turns to gold.
Right.
Everything you touch. Sometimes it backfires on you. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just glad it wasn't 250 states. There's only 50 states in the Union.
But you started in Hawaii. I would have ended in Hawaii.
Well, I would have done it. Yeah, so why didn't you do it in 1952 before Alaska and Hawaii were a state? Would have been a little easier.
Well, what about, you ended up getting on the Stones tour, though.
Well, not tour per se. We did dates on their tour.
Okay,
You know, they
all
picked
right.
us. They had like, you know, a band play here and then we'd play here. And we ended up doing most of the dates
Yeah.
in their American and European tour. We did a lot of them. We, you know, and those other bands they worked with as well. And some of them we couldn't do, and some of them we wanted to do and couldn't do them. But we did quite a few of those with the Stones.
Well, speaking of, you were talking about record distribution earlier. What do you think about today's internet? You know, how people get their songs today versus back in the days when you started?
I don't know what to think about it because I don't have the time to do it.
No.
By the time I figure something out, they invent something new.
And that's
By the time I figure out how one computer works, it's obsolete. So what I'm doing now, Michael, is I just give up.
You give up?
If I live long enough, they'll invent something about this big that does everything.
Here you go.
And I'll have to do it. I said, besides, I don't have time for this kind of thing. I'm doing interviews.
Yeah.
I'm a celebrity, baby. You know.
Look at him, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
I don't have time for, you know, and so I said, hey, how about this? They go, George, they don't do that anymore. They don't make records. They don't make CDs. They don't do this. I said, well, what do they do?
Yeah.
Because somehow they hear this music.
Yeah.
And now, if any song they want to hear in the world, they just go like this on their little
Right.
telephone and they got it right
Yeah.
there. I go, well, why didn't this happen back in 1970? And I didn't have to, you know, pose for the picture and go to the record. I said, I'll give you one song.
Yeah.
If you like that one, I'll give you another one a year from now.
Yeah.
By that time, they'll be tired of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like ludicrous. They still keep insisting on people making albums, CDs, whatever you call them these days, and insisting on 12 or 13 songs to be on them. Now, whatever age you are, when you bought a record in 1970, you had the biggest commodity you could possibly have next to good health and cash. That was time. You had time to listen to all 12 songs. You didn't have anything else to do. There was nothing else to do. There was only 3 stations on TV, and they all went off at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
You couldn't make your own movies. How many movies are on the movie channel? Hundreds, thousands.
Yeah.
I have CDs and records people have given to me 15 years ago that I've never even got around to listening to, and I'll go, hey, that sounds pretty good. I want to go see these people. And they go, oh, they broke up 8 years ago.
Yeah,
And I'm like, they had a whole career, George, and you missed it. Because I think they got to do a new shift, go to Obama and his people and say, we're going to have to create a 36-hour day. And we're going to have to create a 9-day week. Because there's not enough time to cover everything. Or go back to the record and say, put out 4 songs. It's all people have time to listen to. And there's no time to listen to the whole thing. Oh, you're ripping people off. I go, ripping off from what?
Yeah.
They don't have the time to sit and, you know, take the effort to sit. And they also have this now, which we didn't have. I'd go walk across the room and I'd put the needle on the things.
Right.
And I put it on. And in my case, I have to put a nickel or a quarter on it.
Exactly
You know,
right.
So it didn't stick.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
so I put the thing on, across the thing, and I listened to the song on and said, yeah, that's cool. And the next song would come on, and I'd go, I don't really like that one. I'm going to go over. And you walk across the room. And
Right.
you put the next one on. Then the next time you listen to the record, that song comes on, you go, I'm just a little tired. I'll just sit through it. And the next time you go, hey, that's not a bad song. And then you go, hey, that's just as good as the one I was skipping over.
Right.
See, because you had to do so much physically, like go over here,
Yep.
change it, or walk
Right.
across the room. Now it's like if they don't like it, they just click it, like they click it, and you never get to hear it ever.
Ain't that the truth?
You never get a chance to hear it. You're just clicking. Like a movie, you'll go, well, this movie's not any good. It doesn't catch my attention within 8 seconds. Blip, blip, blip. The other day there was a movie going on, it was like 2 seconds of it, and I said, I didn't like it. It was on for about a month, and I said, finally went, well, let's just watch this movie. You know, and all of a sudden, Robert De Niro's in the movie. And I go, well,
Now it's got my attention.
let's check it out. You know, I didn't do this. You know,
right.
I just didn't feel like I couldn't find a clicker. I couldn't, you know, it's under the thing, it falls down. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
sitting on it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm trying to get the thing, and so I watched it all the way through. It was a brilliant movie called Silver Lining, something like that, with the girl who's in the Hunger Games. And you know the movie I'm talking
No, I
about?
do not.
It was really a good movie. But this guy, he's a football freak, and he's one of those obsessive guys, you know, compulsive obsessive, puts everything in the right spot all the time. And he's always watching the Philadelphia Eagles. And a big story comes out of his son comes in, he's out of an insane asylum or prison or something like that. And it's a fantastic movie.
Wow.
But I just took the time to watch it. Why? because this thing was not available to turn it off.
Where'd it go?
Exactly. So I think that's the truth with music. You do the same thing. You're going, I don't like that. I don't like that one. I don't like that one. Say, well, give it a chance. Say, I don't have the time to give it a chance.
Exactly.
Look, I got. Time is money. I gotta go.
I gotta go.
You know, nowadays, not just where I live in California, but nowadays, you only have time to do maybe one thing a day. I used to think, well, when you live in New York or LA or Chicago, the traffic and all that, you can only do one thing a day. If you're going to the doctor, it's all you can do because you're going to be in traffic. It's that way in the whole world now. You just don't have the time, which is why radio rules. You can have it on all the time. And I'm lucky to be in that field of entertainment. So our catalog gets at least moderate rotation constantly over the last 20 years because that's when people are stuck in traffic like this. And then they hear "Rockin' Me Baby" for the 5th time that day, and they're like, yeah, it becomes part of their, it's an institution, you know, where they don't have anything go like this.
That's right. Who do you listen to nowadays?
I used to listen to a lot of Jack Johnson. I was turning on a lot of him. I listen to what my daughter plays. I have to listen to what I have no say.
How's your daughter?
I don't know saying it. You know, you know. Luckily, she likes a lot of the same music. She likes to listen to Rolling Stones. She likes to listen to the Beatles. She's very fascinated with Mick Jagger these days. Very fascinated with him, as I was at her age. Let's say about Mick.
Well, speaking of time, we're running out of time here talking to George Thorogood. He is the main destroyer right here. If you ever haven't seen him in concert, I say you better go see him as soon as you can. You're on tour for like, I don't know how long, but I saw there's so many dates back to back, and you're talking to me. If I was playing, you played like the last 3 or 4 or 5 nights, is that right?
Well, I need the money.
He doesn't need no money.
The price of living keeps going up. And look, I'm a Jerry Lee Lewis when Johnny Cash passed away, rest in peace. Johnny Cash passed away, and he said, "You're the last in $1 million quartet." And he said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Baby, I'm never gonna die." And I said, "Really?" And he goes, "Man, I owe too many people money." I said, "Jerry, stay broke, because we love you."
George Thorogood, everybody. Say what? Wave bye to him. Come on now, wave bye to him. All right.
I'll be like Granny.
Thank you, everybody. And as you start your second song of the night in concert, you always say another line.
Away we go.
So goodbye, everybody. Thanks.